Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Sal, and welcome to Comic Pop. Just chatting with Joel about some sci-fi stuff. Thought we were doing that on Skype, and I'm like, let me just record that. Let's see if I can monetize that.
Hey, this isn't the comic book cast.
No.
I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Exactly.
What am I doing here?
This isn't even the weekly poll. This is my own little thing I've been working on, playing around with some formats.
And you've been doing a damn good job.
Thank you.
Reality Sal and I think we've wanted to do a show together for the longest time. I wanted to get him on CBC Spotlight, but that show's slumbering at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I get that shit. No, actually, it's funny, when you did your big last sub celebration and everything, a bunch of people were tweeting at me saying, hey, Joel, are you going to show up on this? Are you going to be one of the special guests in this one? So even the fans kind of knew if Sal was to get anyone, it would be
yes. I definitely was hoping to get some special guests on the show, and it was just, we were having so many technical difficulties with the live show anyway. I was like, let's not even...
And I literally, the second you had started the show at 6, I just walked back in from Fan Expo.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, you were probably wiped.
I was probably wiped. But I like, too, that the fans and the fan community was like, no, you can probably get Joel. Joel doesn't say no to anything.
Yeah, they're a quick bunch.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. I think I got your audio good to go. So
nice.
We should be great. So anyway, we were talking about Star Wars because there's been a lot of rage about it.
As is often the case with Star Wars, you rarely hear a Star Wars conversation where it's like, man, that went really good for everybody.
Yeah, everyone was really having a nice time with that conversation.
Because everyone feels very strongly about Star Wars, and we have two huge, disparate generations of Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Now, there's guys like you and me who are brought up on the original trilogy and the original expanded universe, and a new group of fans who only really know of the prequels and the Clone Wars and are growing up in a time when they completely dismantled the expanded universe and say, no, none of this matters anymore.
It's not enough that we had, because, okay, as a Star Wars fan growing up, I always kind of looked at the expanded universe as kind of, optional.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, okay, I got the movies, and I'm good, and I can really, extrapolate a lot from that, and the most fun of Star Wars, and I think a lot of, older fans will agree, the most fun of Star Wars is not having all the answers handed to you, and more, figuring it out for yourself or extrapolating your own theories. I remember years and years ago having some theories about, Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, and, I always liked the idea that Boba Fett was a woman, a jilted lover of Han Solo's, and so
like Samus Aran, yeah.
Yeah, he pulls off the helmet and hair comes down and he's actually gorgeous.
That's way too funny because literally in the Marvel comics right now they have introduced Han's ex-wife.
I saw that. That's
kind of like a bounty hunter, so they kind of did your idea.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, any idea you write down on the internet will definitely be used at some point or another. I don't know if they're. Yeah, I'm sure they're not listening to my ideas, but
the idea that I always hung to, and clearly Greg Wiseman was paying attention to this. It's the idea that C-3PO and R2-D2 were actually secret secret rebel agents who have been moving around silently this whole time, and no one thought anything about them because they were droids. And literally, in an episode of Rebels, they go to meet Jimmy Smith's Bail Organa, and they basically lend credence to that idea that yes, Bail has been sending them out on secret missions this time.
I like that a lot. I love R2 and 3PO and what they used to represent and how they used to be take a look at this epic story from the perspective of the lowliest characters.
They were the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea of the expanded universe kind of being optional. I remember there were comics. I remember Dark Empire, and that kind of being hailed as a huge thing. Heir to the Empire from Timothy Zahn, and the Zahn trilogy, the first one. Zahn, of course, would eventually write definitive Star. I mean, Zahn's influence over Star Wars. He created Coruscant. He created, Thrawn. He had the idea with the clones and with Palpatine anyway. There's a lot of influence from the expanded universe that wound up into the movies. But I always kind of went if I feel like getting into that, I will. And I think my first expanded universe novel that I read was Truce at Bakura, which was boring as hell.
That's the thing about them. They're not all great.
They're not all great. And they're not all Star Wars expanded universe merch and novelizations are treated equal. And
No,
clearly,
no,
I
no.
should have just read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, but I read it too late, and I'm like, okay, I think I know what's happening here. But
My first expanded universe was actually the Ostrander legacy stuff. Ostrander, of course, for those of you who don't know, wrote some of the most definitive Suicide Squad stories of all time, and he's also an incredibly accomplished Star Wars writer. And by God, Legacy is amazing. Legacy is like 10,000 years or some amount of time in the future, and you're following like the great grandson
of Luke Skywalker
during the rise of the Second Empire and the second Sith reinsurgence.
Yeah. I like everything. Any Star Wars that takes place far away from influencing the Star Wars that I know and love, I'm a fan of.
Like the BioWare games.
Those were really cool and like kind of made you hope that Galaxies was going to be cool. For you youngins, there was this Star Wars MMO. It's still out, by the way, but like no one played it. Called Star Wars Galaxies, and it was really bad.
I actually know a guy who worked on that game, and not only did he work on that game, but specifically he worked on like the big Life Day event.
Oh my God,
that they had in the game for Wookiee Life Day.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, here's a quick story about Life Day. I went to New York. I'm a New York Comic Con guy. I went in 2006. I've been going since then. 2007, they got Peter Mayhew, aka Chewbacca, to appear. And by the way, I say that like they got Peter Mayhew. Peter Mayhew will go to conventions.
Dude, he walked by me one time with a 501st escort. That man is a giant.
He is. I've. By the way, the dude was 8 feet tall in 1977. Now he's that much older, and that being that tall and that giant, that age really takes its toll on your body, and so
he's got to walk with a cane now.
With a cane, but have you seen his cane? It's a lightsaber.
Yes, that's amazing.
And that's adorable. You're just like, way to embrace it. But when I met Peter Mayhew, we went up to. This is the first time I've ever been exposed to signings or celebrity signings. The only other celebrity signing I ever attended was a Kevin Smith signing in like 2000 at a mall, and that was singular. It was a very singular experience. And nothing like, the typical con experience. But anyway, I went up to him, didn't know about like the money thing. Just went up to him, was like, Peter Mayhew, holy crap, you're amazing, this is great, I can't believe, do you mind if I do a picture? Completely bypassing the concept of like, you have to pay for pictures, you have to pay for autographs.
Yeah,
but,
pay me.
Yeah, but they crammed the like celebrities in this far away corner from the convention. You got to go through the main floor, up these stairs, through Artist Alley, which has never been set up better than like in 2007, because number one, you had to go through it to get everywhere, so you always had to talk to somebody. Two, it was jam-packed with like top talent who were in these little card tables, so like you just had direct access to titans in the comic book industry. And they had to be there. And then you got to the celebrities. And the celebrities, by the way, were like the kid who played Boba Fett, Gary Coleman, who I also was like...
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. I had to talk to him. I'm like, Gary Coleman, holy crap, man, what's going on? And he's like, hey, man, you want to buy something? I'm like, no, I don't. I'll see you later.
But you see, at Fan Expo, the last con I did, they're sure to have like the celebrities behind like the whole velvet ropes and wait in the next... So you can't just do a drive-by on them and do stuff like that.
New York Comic Con, they put all the celebrities in the basement, and you got to get past their people.
Got to corral them.
The kid who played Draco Malfoy had like a guy, who was like no photos and like would go into other lines and give people shit for taking photos.
Oh,
and
nice.
I know Ethan had a real problem with that. He's like, you can't stop me from taking a photo of you in a public fucking place.
Avada Kedavra, apparently I can.
Yeah, exactly. Avada Kedavra, here comes my bodyguard to smash your camera.
Apparently that sounds scummy, but apparently Rupert Grint, the guy who plays Ron, is getting it way worse because he was charging like something. I don't know if you read this story.
No,
but he was charging.
Ron Weasley.
No one does. He was charging. He was charging something absorbent for like the last couple con appearances he's been in, like upwards of 200.
Oh, that's nuts. No, Sigourney Weaver. By the way, Sigourney Weaver charged 185, which is why I don't have a Sigourney Weaver signature anywhere.
But even then, you're like, you're Sigourney
Weaver is a, she's a god, and you're Ron effing Weasley.
which basically the only movie he's ever been in, and now he seems resigned to doing the con scene. Like, at least Felton, in interviews, he's like, yeah, I decided to stop acting because people just kept typecasting me as the
Right.
bad bully kid, so I just don't do it as much anymore now.
Fair enough. But yeah, so he's a shit, I guess.
To take that, Harry Potter. Our Star Wars totally beats your
That's
Harry
right.
Potter.
But so
Don't get me wrong, I'm a Harry Potter fan.
oh
too.
no, I you know what's funny? Like when I was as they were coming out, I'm like, fuck Harry Potter. And the more I watch them, the more I'm like, this is all right.
Yeah,
It's pretty
I see why this captured the imagination
Yeah.
of a generation.
This is delightful. If I didn't have a million other franchises that had brought me to this point, I would be totally obsessed with Harry Potter.
You'd be the guy with the lightning scar and the robes and
Maybe
everything,
not
and,
the
talk,
scar.
and talking about which house you would pull.
I would
you know,
definitely
which,
pick a house, and it would probably be Ravenclaw. But
because they're the smart ones. See, I would take Hufflepuff because no one ever suspects Hufflepuffs.
it's true.
Man,
I dig the Hufflepuff. I just couldn't I couldn't handle the derision from Harry Potter fans.
It's because, like, think about it. Like, Slytherin has a bunch of famous members. Gryffindor has a bunch of famous members. Hufflepuff, the bar is freaking low.
Exactly. No, you
at
can be a
that
big fish
school.
in a small pond at Hufflepuff. Like
You could be the greatest Hufflepuff who ever lived by, like, only half-ass
yeah,
trying.
if you could make mid tier in Gryffindor, it means you'd be a like a Wonder Star. At Hufflepuff.
Yeah, you'd be the greatest Hufflepuff
Yeah,
who ever
they
lived.
would be like you'd be the boy who made it. Like
the boy who made. Hey, I'm the Hufflepuff who didn't die or end up in a vampire movie.
yeah. So we go up to Peter Mayhew, we get the pictures, and he's like, all right. Because, like, no one's there. No one's paying for pictures anyway. At least someone wants one.
Yeah,
And
really.
he is like, and by the way, this is, before any Star Wars shit, like the idea of Chewie ever being in a movie anyone wants to watch him in. And so he's, and you could tell when you talk to him that he's like, he's slowing down. His gigantism gets in the way of some things, but he's mastered his signature, which obviously he's turned into currency.
Yeah.
But what I was used to was having celebrities, like, if I do get any signatures, having them have them write something customizable. With Kevin Smith, we went and met him. Our friend who got us interested in Kevin Smith in the first place was like, Kevin Smith, I don't want to meet him. I got to study for the SATs. And I'm like, okay, jackass. So we grabbed, but then we thought, like, he's doing free signings. We should have something for him. So I grabbed my Taco Bell receipt and had him write, his name. But we thought, like, what should we have him write? We should have him write a message and, like, make fun of him. And it was 2000, so the Clerks cartoon show had just aired and been canceled.
As
And
it does.
there were 2 episodes, and in one of them there was a joke where it was a cutaway where the Clerks go to England and they capitalize on the joke of fag means cigarette.
Right.
And then Randall says something like, "You're a cigarette," and we thought that'd be hilarious. So we wrote, "You're a cigarette." So Kevin Smith, we're like, "Here, man, could you also write, Keenan, you're a cigarette?" And he went like, "You're a cigarette." That's pretty good. There you go. So we're used to making customized signatures. So when I met Peter Mayhew, he signed his name. He's like, "There you go, thanks a lot." And I'm like, "Would you mind writing Happy Life Day?" Damn it if he didn't do it.
Oh, that's good.
But
Nice.
but he gave me this look like, okay.
You scruffy nerf herder.
Yeah, he's
you.
like, you looked for me, you paid for my signature, and you're one of the few people who's actually here. I will write Happy Life Day, but this will be the last time.
I won't friggin' choke slam you for mentioning that.
Yeah, exactly. And he would too. So we were talking about Star Wars and in the chat earlier, just like when Joel and I were riffing before.
Just goofing around even when we were supposed to be working on other stuff.
Exactly.
But as always, Star Wars took precedent.
Yeah, no, I got back issues on the back burner. I finished that early, so I'm like, I got some time. So we were talking about sci-fi franchise and stuff, and I was like, man, like, okay, so Star Wars. We were talking about the fact that, like, the new movie's coming out, the prequels came
Yes, it
out,
is.
and kind of like, now we're in a world where, like, when we grew up watching Star Wars, there was just Star Wars and maybe the special editions, and then after that you got, and the expanded universe, which everyone kind of considered optional because it was after the movies.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that happened before the movies was speculation. They never went back.
Yep.
So then they make the prequels to, controversy. And
Much, just put it lightly.
too much discussion, to the point where like my friends and I, who are all pretty much hardcore Star Wars fans, have discussed the prequels long before the Red Letter Media video.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't watched it, just look up Red Letter Media or RLM Star Wars and you'll get it.
I think at this point everyone has had to see it. If you haven't, like, there's required viewing on the internet, and
Yeah.
I think the Red Letter Media 6-hour-long video essay on the failure of the Star Wars prequels and what that means to fans in a generation, like, that is, like, you could teach a class with that.
Oh, you could. And like, but we talked it to death before the damn thing even came out. So when someone sent me that link, they were like, "You gotta watch this." I go, "Oh, someone else is talking about Star Wars." I've been talking about how bad Star Wars is for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And we've talked it to death, to the point where I was like, where I was done talking about how bad the prequels are. Where I like, every time someone's like, "Oh, Jar Jar," I'm like, "Shut up!" Like, I just shut them down. I can't talk about it.
Pod race, shut up.
Yeah, I get it. It's bad. It's been said. It's established. The thing that I'm finding out in this world, where there's a new trilogy coming out, and the prequels have been around for over a decade.
Just hard to believe.
The last movie in the trilogy was released 10 years ago.
Jeez.
Which, like, means that the Phantom Menace, which was the first bad one, came out even longer ago than that. But people are 15 who were born when those movies came out, and they were raised on them, and that's for them their Star Wars, and
the only Star Wars they ever knew, which is kind of crazy to believe.
Yeah.
And we sound like the crazy old men. We sound like that thing from Spaced,
oh yeah,
that thing where it's just like, you weren't there, kids. You don't know what it was like.
It's true. And like, let me tell you, like, so anyway, now we're in a world where there's huge controversy about the prequels. The Force Awakens is coming out. I'm still iffy on the title, but it's better than any of the last three.
It has been. Like, that's the thing, too, where it's like, Force Awakens, that sounds a little clunky. Every Star Wars title sounds a little clunky.
Yeah. I mean, it has to tell you what's going to happen without also spoiling the whole plot. And, except for the first three, like the new first three. So, you know, who the hell knows. But anyway, one of the things that I've been kind of like, I wonder what's going to happen, is you have an entire generation of people brought up on the new Star Wars trilogy and how...
Yes.
All right, there's a lot of controversy. It is... I used to think it was undisputedly they're just bad movies.
Yeah.
Like, they're poorly directed, they're really badly acted, it's really bad editing, the effects are really cheesy and lame and
lines
silly.
No actor would sound good reading, a complete and utter dependency on special effects and, you know, moving technology in the wrong direction.
Right. The story is clunky and complicated and doesn't really set up... It's not written the way stories are written, which is ironic because George Lucas was a huge student of Joseph Campbell, who created the
Hero with 1,000 Faces,
the power of myth, and the idea of, like, the mythic hero's journey, and how, like, every movie that has a person who triumphs over evil can follow that formula, and as long as you adhere to the formula, you have a story, and yet those three movies don't have that. Or if they do, it's clunky, forced framework. So, like, undisputedly, I would argue that those movies are really bad, but there are some people who have the nostalgia factor, the rose-tinted glasses, the theater experience. I had the theater experience for Phantom Menace, and then wow, it was a sad day. But
I bet.
But
we were all there. We pretended like it didn't happen. We're like, it was dark. Maybe I need to see it again. Maybe I'm not sure.
I saw it a couple times after that, like, just to make sure I wasn't, like, stupid. But I'm interested.
And then I'm sure you were thrown into the existential crisis too, of where it's like, you know, well, am I too old for Star Wars now? Did I outgrow this franchise? Is it me? Is it my fault? Then you're like, no, it can't possibly be my fault.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
Thank you, Skinner.
Yeah. Am I so out of touch? No, it can't be me. It's the children who are wrong.
It's the children that are wrong.
But you know, you have The Force Awakens. It's being made by competent filmmakers. It's deliberately made. They're making it. They're you know that they're doing everything in their power to make it competent. Even if they're making it for money, they're still like, they're Disney. They're like, it has to adhere to this formula. It's got to do the beginning, middle, and end. But set up a trilogy. It's got to happen like in a sequence of events that makes sense and works for an audience.
even if it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar fan film, which I think worst case scenario, it's just J.J. Abrams being like, I get to play with my Star Wars action figures again.
I tried to force them into this Star Trek playset, but
now I get the actual toys to play with.
Now I actually get to play with Star Wars.
I don't have to retrofit Star Trek into being Star Wars.
Yeah. No,
and really, you go back and you watch that first Star Trek, and you're like, man, this was just his demo reel for Star Wars.
It sure was. No, that was a commercial for Star Wars. But even then, like, the movies wanted to be Star Wars too. Like, to the point where the original movies, the first 6, were, like, made through Industrial Light and Magic. Like, they wanted to... Like, Star Trek wants it to be... to capture a little bit of that Star Wars magic. But they still kept the cerebral, you know...
science fiction, science fantasy.
Yes, Star Wars is more of a mythic, you know, like fairy tale, and Star Trek is deliberately hard science fiction or loose science fiction.
From a dude who wanted to get his own, utopia thoughts out there and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Dude wants to. Yeah, exactly. It's still fantasy, but for a dude who cares about details. For a nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, who had thoughts and feelings that he was going to express, through characters and through development interactions and everything.
Who'd have thought? But the fact that The Force Awakens will, even if it's not great, even if it's boring, or even if it's stupid, or even if it's like filled with action for no reason, even if all the things that we dread are true, even if it's almost as good as Return of the Jedi, like, which everyone probably agrees is, like, the weakest of the 3. Which is like saying, what's your least favorite ice cream flavor?
It's true. It's still ice cream.
It's still ice cream. Shut up. But even if that's the case, it's still going to be, objectively speaking, a better crafted film.
And it's going to be a goddamn massive hit. Like, that's certain. They're projecting it to be the biggest movie of the year, and why wouldn't it be?
Oh, the thing is, Disney paid $4.5 billion to get Star Wars. They made $5 billion in 2015 on the marketing for the new movie that hasn't come out yet. So it's already paid for itself, and will continue to do so until the end of time.
Dude, the action figures, the fact that they put action figures on
sale. For characters I don't even know!
Like, and that was an event, and they're like, hey kids, guess what? You can totally come... Actually, wait 1 second.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
You're talking about for characters that aren't even...
Yeah.
I got my Kylo Ren talking action figure, and he says lines from the movies that might be spoilers.
I'm immune to the light.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. What else do you got to say, buddy?
No one will stand in our way.
No one will stand in our way, apparently.
Oh, good.
You know what I've come for.
No, I don't actually know.
I have no idea what you're here for, man.
I'm gonna have to see the movie to figure that out. But yeah, I got my talking Kylo Ren action figure because I knew I had to. Ooh, and his lightsaber lights up too, actually. Yeah.
It's pretty badass. I mean, like, the toys look great. Here's the thing, like, with the BB-8s, like the BB-8 dolls or robots, I really, really want a BB-8 droid.
Yeah.
Not the big one, the little one that, like, I can use my smartphone with.
Nice.
Because it's $120, but I won't buy it, and here's why. Number one, I don't have $120 spent on a fucking toy that I don't know the character of, and number two is that point exactly, which is I don't know who BB-8 is.
It's
All
true.
I know is he's a fucking droid. Like,
but he's the coolest droid ever, and he's the new droid.
R2's the coolest droid ever. BB-8 is just a neat idea for now. He might be the coolest droid ever, but I'd like to see the fucking movie first. It's like saying that Chopper from freaking Rebels is the cool. I hated him.
You hated Chopper?
When he first showed up, he was like a slapstick. His droid sound effect is a chicken sound. He says "bawk, bawk, bawk, bawk" all the time.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts. You know what? That was very evocative of the Roger battle droid. So it made me really upset. But like,
I think they did better with Chopper later on, showing how comic is.
Oh no, Chopper's earned my respect over time.
And the fact that they send him to do the shitty jobs that they don't want to do themselves.
Well, that's what you do with a fucking robot. He's got no soul. He's not a slave. He's programmed to do this shit.
But he clearly has a personality, though, and that's always been a weird thing in Star Wars. These soulless machines with personalities and feelings get annoying.
I feel bad for R2 and 3PO. Those two, they've been put through the ringer. But at the end of the day, they're not people. But they're people to me. I care about those characters. And maybe
I was gonna say, Sal's a droidist. We're gonna have to hear about
exactly. This. No, they're gonna be like, oh, and what happens? This is gonna be thrown in my face when Ex Machina becomes real and like droids are walking around. But you know, my point being simply, Star Wars. Like, I'm gonna be fascinated to see what prequel apologists say when The Force Awakens comes out.
True.
Because is it that they have rose tinted? That's when we will know definitively if people are either obstinately arguing about how good the prequels are because they're being difficult, or they like bad movies.
What a weird world is it going to be when you hear long-winded screeds from people online, either in forums or in comment sections, being like, well, this isn't the Star Wars I grew up with. Where's the pod racing?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the Jar Jar? This isn't my
Where are the racial allegories? Where's the...
Where's these slightly offensive Asian-sounding aliens?
That blew my effing mind. In the theaters. And it took no time at all to destroy my hopes and dreams. Phantom Menace, May 19th, 1999. I'm in the theater. We bought McDonald's food and let the garbage around us so no one want to sit near us. And so I didn't want, so no one could be in front of me because we didn't have stadium seating back then. And
that's good. That's a good idea.
Movie comes on. The Phantom Menace, we've already known it was the title, so I was already prepared for that disappointment. And then we read this what the fuck crawl, and I'm like, all right, you know what, nobody reads the crawls. And then this cool ship comes through. I'm like, whoa, that ship is cool looking. Ooh, a female pilot, awesome. And then he comes on the screen, he's like, oh, hello. And I'm like,
James Wan.
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? Maybe there was, and I'm looking around like, is anyone else freaking out? Am I, like, having a dream? That happens sometimes where I think I dreamed I saw Avengers 2 a couple times months before Avengers 2 came out. And I remember waking up being like, man, Avengers 2 was a really weird movie. Oh, I haven't seen it yet, thank God.
It's like, am I the only one imagining horribly, you know, racist Asian stereotypes, and then later you get some Jewish stereotypes thrown in there,
well, Watto could be anybody. He could be Greek or a Jew or an Arab, whoever do you want me to be. I'm offensive to all races.
I know, I'm so broad. It doesn't matter what group. It doesn't matter what group you belong to, I can offend you.
Exactly. I even have a little bit of an A before every word, so I could be Italian. You don't know. Depends on how much you hate my race. If you hate Italian people, then I'm Italian. If you hate Greeks, I'm a Greek person.
But Watto is a character where you can, you know, project your own racism onto him.
Yeah, he's like a stem cell for racism.
He just takes on the
racist qualities that you want him to have. Yeah. So anyway.
Friggin' Watto. And then they keep bringing Watto back, like in the third one. He's like, hey, you want to help me get some money back from some people?
Oh my God, these are deadbeats. You know what's funny? I heard that the animation team Lucas did not want to bring Watto back, but the animation guys did, and I kind of liked Watto at least getting closure on that character. I hated him, but like at least finding out that he is that he's like ruined was a little bit of satisfaction for me.
Because you know, he was a slave owner too.
Yeah,
and
he's a slaver. He's not fun. He's not a whimsical, hilarious character. He's a plantation owner. Come on.
And what's even worse about that is, like, you know, the Jedi, oh, we have all this power in the universe and everything.
But I'm not here to free slaves.
Yeah, how about you go deal with the slave problem on Tatooine? You know, or the fact that they give Luke to, you know, Uncle Owen and whatever, even though we know they bought his mother. So it's like, so you gave the kid to a bunch of slave owners. Good job, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, holy crap. I bought her and then I married her.
But it's okay, I'm in a wheelchair, so, you know, no weird sex stuff could happen.
Right, exactly. No, I bought her to cook.
Yeah, and the fact that they do that, where it's like, no, see, kids, it's fine. He's in a wheelchair. I'm like, okay, A, kids wouldn't be thinking that. B, but the fact that you thought about it enough to put him in a wheelchair to try and diffuse the weird sex stuff that we're all probably thinking.
Right. No, that was bizarre. But I'm interested to see where, like, what happens, like what rift will be torn in the Star Wars.
Oh, you know there
fandom.
will be.
You know, yeah, because they're gonna be like, I liked Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Never saw it.
I enjoyed it, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it was it used social plight in their story. You know, it's a movie that was like 15 years too late, because it's a movie about invading Afghanistan after 9/11.
Well, and, you know, because it's written by, what is it, Kortsy and Ortsy or whatever, and that dude...
Orchie and Kurtzman or something.
Yeah, and that guy always puts, like, false flag storylines in everything that he writes. That's always a thing that he goes on about. That's apparently his pet project.
Oh, wonderful. But like the fact that they used social issues to tell a story in a Star Trek thing
Is something Star Trek would do.
Yeah, because like don't tell me they don't do it. Look at Star Trek 6. Camp Kittimer is the name of a planet. Like
gotta save them whales too.
Yeah, whales. I love all those movies with unabashed nostalgia and delight. And by the way, I did not like Star Trek. When I grew up, I hated the original trilogy or the original series. I thought the TNG was boring and non-Star Warsy. But as you grow up, you learn
You respect it more.
You can't solve your problems by shooting a laser at it. You have to sometimes you have to
walk down a hallway.
You have to learn the quotes of your opponent's father and then throw them in their faces, and that's how you destroy them. Like these are the kinds of things that I like as an adult. I'm like, oh, cool. Look at Picard destroying this woman, like
with ideas.
Yeah, with thought and free will. But anyway. With respect to sci-fi, because that's the kind of topic of today's thing, I'm excited to see how further destroyed Star Wars gets.
Well, something I think we could agree on that isn't destroyed, and something that's actually living up to the hype completely, and we touched on it a little, is Rebels. How freaking great is Rebels?
I dig Rebels, and let's take this opportunity really quick to say no justice for Hera, and no justice for female action hero superheroes in terms of popular mass media. Like Hera, where's the action figure? Where's the t-shirt?
Does she not have one? Does Hera actually not? Oh, that's lame, because Hera is literally one of the best ones. They go to show that she is as much the brains of the operation as anything.
She's totally in charge. Like she's calling the shots. She's flying the ships. Like she's Wash and Mal all at the same time. Kaylee,
Kanan thinks he's in charge, but he isn't.
No,
though.
Exactly. By the way, I know this is not going to be the case because prequels, because Star Wars, but I always wanted Kanan to be a failure Jedi.
Well, that's kind of where they're going. I don't know if you've read the Greg Wiseman.
I have not read the comic, but Greg Wiseman or Wiesman or however you want to call it is he created gargoyles.
Young Justice, Spectacular Spider-Man, always getting screwed out of amazing projects. But that's kind of where they're going with it, actually.
Yeah.
In the comic, because it's like his master died during the closing days of the Clone War. He's never finished his training. He's like a half-trained Jedi. He spent more time learning to be a smuggler under this alien smuggler dude than he ever did. Yeah.
The thing I wanted him to be was not even a failed Jedi. It was the idea that he was involved with the Senate or whatever. Like he worked with the Jedi Temple. Order 66 takes place. If you got to do all this shit, fine. All right, you could I'm not gonna fan fiction my own version of the prequels and whatever. But if you need to have the couched in the prequel trilogy, the Jedi massacre takes place at the temple, and Kanan escapes and takes the lightsaber of a dead Jedi.
Oh, that he shouldn't have, that he didn't earn.
And he's just more like he used the Jedi massacre as an opportunity to
get a leg up,
to escape his former life and to to get a new start. And he found the lightsaber.
I never read the book they did, because they
did either, but yeah.
It's not a comic book. It's like a book that actually describes how he met Hera and everything. Cool. And I haven't read that one yet. Matt should be on this. Matt reads all that extended universe stuff. He knows that. But friggin' Kanan isn't even his name. It's Caleb. It's Caleb Dunn.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, cool. Yeah, it works for me. He's cool.
He took a cooler smuggler name.
Yeah, I like it. I like the characters.
Zeb is great. Zeb is even better when you realize that that's old Chewbacca artwork that they used.
Well, everyone in that show is a Ralph McQuarrie design.
I know. And then they explain where it's like, well, how come we haven't seen any of Zeb's people in the Star Wars universe up until now? Oh, he's like the last of his people because the Empire killed them all.
Yeah, and that's perfectly legitimate. You could totally buy that. Oh yeah, the Empire wiped them out at the end. Oh, cool. Okay. Well,
yeah, the one character who is seemingly the most interesting and yet who has gotten the least amount of time is Sabine.
Yes, the Mandalorian or not.
Or not. She gets one throwaway line where she's like, yeah, I was a stormtrooper cadet back on Mandalore. I used to follow orders all the time and bad stuff. Well, what? Elaborate on this story, please.
Right, well, can we get a little, episode about that or something? No.
Season 2. I'm hoping Season 2. And even Ezra is cool. Ezra is everything Anakin is not. Everything Anakin should have been.
Yes. The problem with Ezra is he has to die.
I know, right? Well, dude, technically they all have to die.
Yes!
Because they don't show up anywhere else.
Yeah, they're integral to the rebellion and nowhere near the rebellion when it's relevant. So I guess
much like Starkiller in the Force Unleashed video games, where it's like, oh well, the rebel or the rebellion symbol, that's his family crest.
Yeah, the fact with that, I loved the use of Starkiller. We're talking about the Force Unleashed video game, which
Starkiller is also completely gone from canon now. They've wiped him and his adventure, and I know that pisses off a lot of younger fans too. Ooh, that was their game because they didn't have the BioWare ones.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I loved the use of Starkiller at the end, where Vader finds out that Luke's his son, and he's like, "Oh, I don't need you anymore."
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome. Like,
which
how dark is that?
Which they're also kind of doing in the Vader book right now. That's one of the coolest things about the Vader book, him coming to the realization that his son is alive and the Emperor has been lying to him.
Yeah, that's cool as hell. I love that. Yeah, that I'll always remember that line where he's just like, "I thought you and I were supposed to control the galaxy," or "I thought we were going to destroy the Emperor," and he's like, "Yes, but not with you."
Not with you.
And that's the end. You're like, "Oh!" By the way, can we also throw it out to the fact that Rebels got fucking James Earl Jones to come
back for Vader? How sick is that?
It's fucking amazing.
And they got Billy D back as Lando.
He's
as
amazing. Well. He's a little too like.
He's having a little too much fun.
He's having to. Yeah, hello, what have we here? Okay, cool. When you're talking to women you want to sleep with, you can do that. But like, okay, let's get these crates loaded into the docking bay. Jesus Christ, Lando! Not everything's an innuendo. Can we?
Lando is just in love with everything in the even his droid is super cool. His droid's like,
yeah. Hello, my favorite droid, Chopper. What's going on? Keep in your pants, Lando. Let's go.
No. I love that they're pushing Lando harder now than they ever have before. It's like recurring role on Rebels, his own miniseries.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, hey, Lando's still alive. Maybe we'll see old Billy D. Williams in one of these Star Wars movies that they're going to be making. The fact that he's not
in The Force Awakens is really kind of disconcerting. The fact that he's almost 80 is like, you better fucking get him in these movies.
He'll probably show up in Rogue One. They'll probably be like... So, like, we need help of someone. Oh, well, there's this old Godfather figure. He used to run a city. Oh, wait, it's Lando.
Oh, that's fine with me, because, by the way, Rogue One looks like the Firefly of Star Wars.
Yes, it totally does.
No Force, no Jedi, no magic, no garbage. It's
just smuggling.
Smugglers and droids, I hope, because I know that Alan Tudyk, Wash from Firefly, plays a CG character on the crew.
Nice.
I hope it's a fucking droid. Because...
Is he going to be a leaf on the wind?
No! Let's not talk about that.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. That was like, for as bad as the prequels were, Serenity was like my Vietnam. Like,
you weren't there, man.
Let me tell you something. So I was such a brown coat that I hooked up with like a Yahoo group of brown coats that were in New York, nice. But only here's why though, so that I could get preview tickets to see Serenity 6 months in advance. And I did. And I saw it 4 times, 4 different previews. And then the last preview, I was like, I'm going to skip it. That's the one Alan Tudyk came to.
Oh, wow.
So I got mine. But holy shit. When Wash, like, let's not ruin it. But, like, here's the thing.
If it makes you feel better, Sal, you said it was your Vietnam. I've only seen Serenity once. I saw it on what was probably one of the worst nights of my life when I really shouldn't have been watching that movie.
Yeah, that's a
and since then, I have not been able to go back to it because I'm just like, no, I know I didn't give it a fair shake the first time.
It's not great. It's not great. If you love Firefly, you might not like Serenity because Whedon only wrote 2 episodes of Firefly.
Yeah.
Like, the real crime of Serenity is that Tim Minear has nothing to do with it, because Tim Minear is the guy who wrote Out of Gas. He co-wrote the repilot, The Train Job,
AKA all your favorite episodes.
All your favorite episodes, except for Janestown, which is Ben Edlund, the creator of The Tick, which is awesome.
Which it is so much more of a comedy episode.
Oh,
Janestown.
Yeah. Until the end when you're like, oh shit, this got deep.
The Man They Call Jane. I love that song.
That's such a great song. But yeah, I saw Serenity, and I looked up a review of it that said no spoilers. The first line of the review from a reputable website said, despite the fact that 3 main characters die. I'm
Nice.
like, are you... No, was it 3? It was 2. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm one of the few people who had, like, this incredibly tense original experience watching Serenity, going, who's it gonna be? Like, who's gonna die? So, like, you've got the opening scene. It's amazing. They built a real mule. They outrun in the Reaver ship. Jane gets a spear through the leg. I'm like, here's where Jane dies! Okay, and I'm justifying to myself, I'm like, okay, maybe I can move on. I think I can live without Jane. I think I could, it would be really fucking miserable, but I think I can live without Jane. Then the operative goes to Inara's palace. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna kill Inara to get Mal out of hiding. Holy fuck, no, he can't kill Inara. And then he doesn't kill Inara. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't handle this anymore. And then like, Serenity's spinning, and then Book dies, and you're like, oh no. That's one of the people I was sure wasn't gonna die, because his backstory wasn't told yet.
In classic Whedon fashion, I kill the ones you don't expect.
Yeah. Then he dies, and I'm like, there's only one left. Who's gonna be? And like, Serenity's spiraling out of control, and they're like, you know, everyone's falling. I'm like, oh my god! Like, who's gonna die on the when they land? It was unbelievably stressful. Fuck that movie.
And then they give you a chance to breathe, where it's like, oh, okay, I think the worst is over. I think
And
we're
then,
gonna
no. Okay. Without spoiling it, because I'm sure that people haven't seen Serenity, I'll just say this. There's a character who dies in that scene. And then they have to outrun the Reavers afterwards. And one of the characters asks where the other character is. Where Kaylee's like, where is so-and-so? And Zoe says, he ain't coming.
Yeah.
That's a good 2-3 minutes after the death scene.
Mm-hmm.
That is when someone in the theater went, no! It was not me, by the way, but like the fact that
Sure, it
like,
wasn't.
It was seriously some dude. Like the death scene happens, and he's like, and he's just, and then it takes him 2 minutes to unfreeze. And he like, it's like he reacted like 2 minutes after he should have. It was
Delayed reaction. Yeah.
But yeah, Serenity, man. Ugh. And then of course we get this, because the movie is, what's so frustrating about Serenity is it's a great movie, right? Like it's built great. It's got framing and character development, structure, practical effects, good use of CG, solid action, great acting, good direction. The only problem is Whedon takes characters that you know, and he's like, I'm going to change some stuff because I want to do it this way. And then the follow-up are all disappointing comic books.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that that's all you've gotten. You would think they would have gotten a freaking animated sequel by now, or a web series or something.
I actually like used all my internet contacts to try and reach Whedon to pitch a like internet radio drama.
I mean, if Doctor Who can do it,
yeah, I'm like, just do a podcast where you get everyone at the table, or if they can't come, you have
they
them
can
record their
literally
lines
phone
later.
it in.
Yeah, and I'll take it. And no, we're just getting shitty comic books. The worst one of all, Float Out by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, Patton Oswalt wrote a Firefly comic?
He sure did, and it's fucking bad. Which is frustrating as all hell, because Patton Oswalt's hilarious. Like,
yes, he is.
Patton Oswalt's one of my top 3 comedians, maybe 4 top comedians of all time, but can't write for shit. Like, his novel, Zombie Spaceship Wasteland.
I almost picked that up, actually.
It's not great. I mean, like, he's trying to do something because he's very cerebral, and he's really into fiction and literature, and so he's
one of us. If he wasn't a famous comedian, he'd be on a show like this.
Yeah, exactly. He would not, if he wasn't a famous comedian, he'd be a famous YouTuber.
Yeah.
But he's playing with the genre, and he's playing with the format, and he's like, I want to do something different, and it's not good. Like, it's just there are some moments where he explains like how he grew up and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you were a suburban kid who thought he was smarter than he was, and now you're doing this. Okay, like, me
Fair
too,
enough.
buddy. Like, we all know that story.
Half your fan base.
Yeah, exactly. So that sucked, but Float Out, holy fuck. Like, it's basically like he took a cyberpunk RPG that he dusted off from like 1988, and then he went like, these are my characters, and then he just told us a story about his characters from his RPG and shoehorned it into Serenity.
Nice.
It's like, what the crap? because it's a wash book. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this, and it's Patton Oswalt. It's one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite comedians. Match made in heaven. Not always. Don't meet your heroes, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true. It's true. Don't meet them.
Yeah. But those comics suck. But yeah. So as we wind down, because it's been an hour, and I think we said we were going to talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Joel,
as is often the case.
We talked about Star Wars, a little bit of Star Trek, and Serenity. What last sci-fi point or topic would you like to kind of delve into really quick?
I imagine this would kick off a whole thing, but here, let me talk about a little science fiction show that I imagine a lot of people forgot. And in our conversation, I brought it up, and it brought a bunch of memories flooding back. Do you remember the old Fox show Dark Angel? It was like in the 2000s.
I sure do, and I watched the pilot and was like, I'm not watching the show.
James Cameron. James Cameron was going to take over TV. It was who was that launched the career of somebody famous?
I think it was the girl who played Dark Angel, right?
Yeah, the woman. Why can't I remember her name now?
I have no idea. I'm gonna check it, but I have no idea.
I'll stall while you do this. Now, now obviously, you didn't like it because you were, I'm sure, older and more discerning and everything. And not to completely out myself, but I'm I'm a wee bit younger than Sal here.
A little bit.
I remember watching that show religiously, and this was like in the turnover phase from, just watching cartoons to starting to watch more live action stuff.
Right.
And Dark Angel was like, ooh, I can handle this because this is basically a freaking cartoon.
Yeah. It was Jessica Alba, by the way.
Jessica Alba, thank you.
Well, like, James Cameron doing science fiction is like, no
shit. Amazing.
Like, I'm totally on board. I grew up with James Cameron science fiction. That was like, no.
And now he's doing a TV show, so he doesn't have to be shackled by, the restraints of movies. He can tell a long-form story.
That's right. And no.
I remember, the biggest thing I remember from Dark Angel is that there was, like, these cyber British punks in the show, and I thought those guys were really great designs. And there was also, like, a dog man who looked like Ron Perlman from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, that's awesome. By the way, if you guys aren't familiar, you should YouTube the Beauty and the Beast TV series with Linda Hamilton. And I think Ron Perlman played the Beauty and the Beast.
Ron Perlman played the Beast. Freaking, Hellboy.
Yeah,
friggin' all these other characters played the Beast in that. That's friggin' amazing. Actually, George R.R. Martin worked on that show.
No shit, that makes sense.
Yeah, he worked on the show.
One of my top 2 or 3 best celebrity meetings was meeting Linda Hamilton.
Oh, nice. How was she?
She's amazing. I did not bring up Beauty and the Beast.
No, I guess you wouldn't. You'd get a slap across the face.
I think she would like it. She'd be like, "Hey, thanks a lot. You watched that show? How old are you?"
Yeah, really. You remembered a thing I did.
But no, I got I got a little photo which was free, and she was awesome about it. And I had her sign the photo that Kyle Reese memorizes.
Aww.
Because I'm a Terminator fanboy, but once again, like my Star Wars fandom, I don't like. I'm like, no, like I'm a selective fanboy. Like I like Terminator 1 and 2, and then I stop.
And then it's well, see, okay, we mentioned this too.
Yeah,
I was actually a really big fan of Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I wanted to like that show a lot. And
I thought it did a lot of interesting things. Again, Game of Thrones connection, friggin' Cersei the Queen.
Yes. Oh, that's from she's Mama from Dread.
That too.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she is, and she played Sarah Connor in that.
Yeah, for me, she's not Sarah Connor. She's great, but she's not Sarah Connor. And for me, I'm like, if you're gonna do Sarah Connor Chronicles, just set it in the future and cast Linda effing Hamilton, because it's not like she's getting a lot of movie roles lately. And fuck you, like.
I think it was one of the few series that actually did some interesting
Lena
stuff.
Headey, thank you.
Lena Headey, thank you. I thought it did some interesting stuff with the whole Terminator war, where it's oh no, we're sending people and robots back in time constantly to be sleeper cells and to be agents for stuff. Skynet's getting ready for the war by sending things back in time to just sit on resources until they need them.
I'm
like, that's clever.
That's really clever. The idea of giving them another Terminator was fun, I guess. I mean, like, the approach was cool. The direction was great. The production values were top notch for a show that had to cost $1 million an episode.
Oh yeah, it was a very expensive looking show.
It was on Fox. Obviously, it was going to get canceled, but like,
Yes, because Fox hates science fiction.
Yeah.
I remember when Fox did like a big celebration. It was like their 75th anniversary, I don't know, some crap like that. And they're like, Fox, a home for action, and they played all their action shows, a home for drama, and then they're like home of some of the most critically acclaimed science fiction shows ever. And they show Firefly, and they show Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, you canceled every one of those
exactly.
shows. You do not get to take credit for shows you canceled.
No. And they're like, yeah, no, it's Millennium X-Files.
But friggin' what is it? Fox, a home for news.
Oh God, yeah. But I wanted to like it, and I waited. I think I was waiting for the DVD, but because I was like, this is gonna get canceled, I'm not gonna fucking waste my time because I'm not gonna get invested in a show that's gonna get canceled before it's time. And
I did.
It's why I don't watch TV. Like, it's why I'm like, I can't watch this because it's gonna get canceled. I got
It's
Firefly
fair.
syndrome. I'm like, it's gonna get canceled before they can tell their story, and not everybody gets 6 seasons in a movie.
It's true. Hell, I'm really into Ray Donovan right now, and that show just squeaked into getting a 3rd season. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to get a 4th, or if they are, it's going to be by the skin of their teeth. That's a great show. It's on Showtime, a network I'm sure a lot of people don't watch. Ray Donovan, everyone. It's the best show nobody's watching.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I have no fucking idea.
It's Liev Schreiber, man.
Oh,
Liev
cool.
Schreiber.
He's good.
He is good, and this show reminds you why he's good. And it's just like, man, he really couldn't play Sabretooth in that crappy Origins movie, but now after seeing this, I'm like, please bring Liev Schreiber back.
Yeah, he was not good as Sabretooth. That was not a good role for him.
Shit, at least Tyler Mane didn't say anything. At least Tyler Mane just stood there and growled every so often.
That was, yeah, at least they had that. He looked like Sabretooth, kinda. That was cool.
Yeah, Tyler Mane, who would later go on to be the Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie
the reboot?
Halloween movies. Yeah, that was him.
I never watched. I don't like Rob Zombie. I watched House of a Thousand Corpses and was like, I never want to see anything like this again.
Okay, here's the thing. You may have hated House of a Thousand Corpses. The pseudo-sequel,
the Devil's Rejects,
is a million times better.
If it's about those sociopath monster people, I don't want to fucking watch it.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. But it takes those sociopath monster people from the weird cartoony universe of House.
Yeah.
And puts them like in a 70s exploitation film like Texas Chainsaw, but basically puts them in the real world, and they set them up against William Forsythe, who is this like psychotic puritanical sheriff who literally in the first 5 minutes shows up to their house from the first movie and says, let's kill us some devil worshippers, boys. And he just hunts them all across the South, and I'm like, this is awesome.
That's cool. I would take that. Just reminded me of Michael Park's character from Dusk Till Dawn and
a little bit, yeah.
And Planet Terror and shit. I would like to see that.
Yeah, there's a movie. There's a friggin' movie right there.
Yeah, seeing Rob Zombie's characters in a Tarantino or a what's his name, Rodriguez picture would be fucking awesome. Similarly, I've never watched the Robert Rodriguez from Dusk Till Dawn in the same universe as all those movies TV series.
Nah, neither have I.
I hear it was not very good.
Yeah.
Apropos that, I remember the movie Zombieland?
Yeah, I remember Zombieland.
Do you remember that Amazon tried to make a Zombieland show?
They did, and the first episode leaked out, and everybody hated it, and then the creator got really salty on Twitter.
Yeah. That, I was talking about it to my friends the other day, and I was like, all you need to do is watch the trailer.
That's basically it,
And they saw it, and they're like, we could make a better show than that. And I'm like, yeah. Like, the production values are like Birdemic bad.
Yep. You notice that's becoming a major trend now. I think ever since Hannibal did really good, now they're trying to make more and more shows out of famous movies.
Yeah, it's true. They're making I saw they were making a move or they're reboot. No, it was a reboot. It's a reboot of a movie from like 30, 40 years ago that's like that nobody watched about time travel. Which I was like, oh, that's cool.
They keep trying to bring back the Munsters. I know they kept threatening they were going to do like a 32 Mockingbird Lane, where it's like, no. Now is the time for a Munsters reboot.
Oh, yes. Oh, the public have been clamoring for it.
And I think they did like a season of a Rosemary's Baby show. I can't remember that
I remember
one.
that.
They did. There's talk of a Rush Hour show they really want to do.
I heard that. You know who'd love to do a Rush Hour show? Chris fucking Tucker.
Yeah, he ain't doing anything. He's sitting outside the studio right now being like, so, they're going to call me in, right?
Yeah, come on, man, let's make a show. man, Chris Tucker. I was just watching Rush Hour the other day, and not only was I like, wow, the movie's not very good.
Brett Ratner, man. Brett Ratner at his finest.
Yeah, that's the No, Rush Hour 2, I think, is the best Brett Ratner movie I've ever seen.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
But there's a moment where it's the bow at the end of Rush Hour when the FBI agents offer Chris Tucker's character to be an FBI agent, and he says, "How about y'all take that badge and shove it up your ass?" I was thinking about that the other day, and I went, "He's just being Eddie Murphy."
Yeah,
You just completely ripped off Eddie Murphy in that movie.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch!
We were talking what the best Brett Ratner movie was ever. I just remembered he also did The Weatherman with Nick Cage.
That wasn't... I didn't watch it.
Okay, but he also, to bring it back to Hannibal for a second, he also did Red Dragon.
Yes, he did. I dug Red Dragon. Tiffany's a huge Lecter fan. Does not like Red Dragon.
Really? Because you see, I think I've actually seen Red Dragon the most because I caught it on cable.
Oh yeah, no, it's Lambs. Lambs is the best one of the best movies like ever made. Like
it is.
I know it's weird to say because it's like really like behind like Lawrence of Arabia, you're gonna say Silence of the Lambs. It's that good. Like it's that perfect. It's like 7 as far as like a perfect picture. It might not be comfortable or like fun to watch, but it's like
it's the best at what it does.
Yeah.
And what it does isn't very nice.
That's right. It's the Wolverine of Best Pictures.
It is. It's funny. I've actually fought this battle many a times with a lot of my friends from the animation circles, because obviously I do a lot of animation reviews over on my other channel. And a lot of people, and you will get into this argument if you talk to these people, what should have won the Best Picture that year, because Silence of the Lambs, if you'll remember, was up against Beauty and the Beast. And that was like the best shot animation ever had for winning a Best Picture, and it lost it to Silence of the Lambs. And to this day, a certain group of people will be like, but imagine if it did one, man. Imagine if, animation was taken seriously in North America. Just one Best Picture is all we needed.
You just needed to fucking get any Pixar movie that was made in the first 5 years of its inception or whatever. Like Toy Story 3 was probably the best movie of that year.
Yeah, and it's still and like it's always a thing because now there's like the best animated picture
that's
category.
like best comic book channel. Like
like
it'd be nice to be nominated for like an awards show as thank you for the best animated. Oh, you're welcome. Like
where it's like they kind of get to further ghettoize animation and be like, just get in your own corner. No, you don't get to be with the big boy movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they added more categories for Best Picture, so technically they should throw a nomination their way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just watching the kids react, or the React channel, and I watched kids react to 90s cartoons. I'm not really segueing, I'm just kind of like tossing it out there. I watched kids react to 90s cartoons, and they're like, all they had to do was hear the theme and they'd identify what show it was. It made my soul hurt really bad. I don't know why I watched the React channel, but for some reason I was like, yeah, let me see if these 13-year-olds recognize Tiny Toon Adventures. Spoilers, that's the one show that nobody recognized.
Really?
Had no idea. And
seriously.
And one of them actually threw out this nice comment where they were like, that's actually a really original idea. And I was like, yeah! It was very clever.
I mean, if we want to argue which had a bigger lasting impact, Tiny Toons or Animaniacs, but that's a debate for another.
Animaniacs clearly had more of an impact than Tiny Toons, but...
And you could argue Animaniacs, even though Tiny Toons itself was like, no, it's Looney Tunes the next generation.
It was next generation Looney Tunes, yeah.
Animaniacs was the real torchbearer, though, of taking that Warner Brothers style of cartoon comedy to the next level.
Oh no, Animaniacs was a blend of the Three Stooges meets 90s current humor. Like that's
and sketch comedy and laughing and stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I'd like to segue that into. Maybe if we do this again sometime, I'd like to talk about animation and cartoons.
Yes, please. I could talk about that shit forever.
I had a feeling, so I thought since I could as well, we should make that another episode. So in the future, hopefully in the next week or two, Joel will be back and we'll chat about cartoons from the 90s. So get your ideas ready. Let us know in the comment section down below. What shows can't we leave out? And please don't pick Silverhawks or anything, like a show you actually watched.
Dude, but Hearts of Silver, Souls of Steel, Silverhawks.
I will take Jem though, because she is truly outrageous, and she is getting a truly outrageously bad movie. So
yes,
we can talk about that.
You know, it's nice that girls get screwed over the same way we boys got screwed over for Transformers. It's nice that they get to feel that pain.
Yeah, you get a shitty. Remember Your Beloved Thing? It sucks too. Like,
see, that's true. That's true gender equality right there. That we all get fucked by Hollywood.
Yeah, doesn't matter what you like. Hollywood will make a shitty movie for you.
I can just imagine all the girls out there being like, "This isn't my Gem. This isn't the Gem I remember. They got it all wrong."
Tiffany watches Gem in the morning before she goes to work, and I remember she was saying,
nice.
she's like, "This is not good. This is not a good show."
Yeah, no, it's not.
But that movie's worse. So anyway, thank you, Joel, for joining me. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, you should go to the DVD Grouch and subscribe to Joel's channel. Give him some love.
Go to Cape Joel instead. That's the one I'm trying to build up.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. Cape Joel. Anyway, I put the other one in the description, but I'll change it for the recorded version of the show.
Thank you. I review a lot more animated stuff over there, and I upload there more frequently. In fact, I've uploaded a video there every day this week, which is good.
Nice. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Sal.
I'm Joel.
See ya, threw you in. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Here's the part where I don't know how to stop it. Womp.